Welcome back to Let's Make a Game, the channel where we are making a computer role-playing game using the free program Twine and the Sugarcube format for Twine. A viewer whose username is Artful Ghoul had a very good suggestion, which I have implemented, and so I'd like to show you in this video what I've done, and then I'll show you the code for how to do it. What I've done is I've added hover text, which is to say text that comes up when you put your mouse over particular areas, for the attributes. So it gives you the full name of the attribute, and then over the numbers, so it tells you that the attributes are rated from 1 to 20, and there's a little explanation of the ones that have two numbers, which is that the number before the slash is the current value and after the slash is the sort of healed value, the full value. And then I've got one for cowrie shells to tell you that cowrie shells are the currency used in the underworld. One that says if you run out of lantern oil you will die in the darkness. And then one that says some of the creatures of the underworld will be willing to trade spices with you. So that's what it looks like. It makes it a little more likely that a user will be able to work out, what particular things mean if they find them confusing, if they think of moving their the mouse pointer over them. So let's have a look at how you do that. And it's quite simple. So I won't show you every single example because all of the code is basically the same, but it's all done in here, story caption, where the character sheet is printed. So the way it works, here's the first example. It's a HTML command, and sorry, I'm just trying to zoom in. And the basic format is something like this. Div, which is the beginning of a paragraph. Sorry, a single less than sign. Single because it's a HTML command. Remember the double ones are for Twine commands. So div, which is starting of a paragraph. You can also use span. The difference is in sort of the way that it formats it, but I like to use div most of the time. So something like div title equals and then you put the text that comes up, then you have the text that is always displayed, and then you have /div. So the full thing will be something like less than div, div, title, title, equals, quote, the text that comes up when you hover over it, quote, greater than. So that sort of starts the div, starts the paragraph, and then you have the text, and then you have less than / div greater than. So it's a very simple format. The only complexity comes when we're not sure what to print in particular places, and so we need variables. And so for that we need a print command. So let's look at the version that's a print command. We have less than, which indicates that we're starting a Twine command. Print, there should probably be a space there, but there doesn't need to be. That's just sort of to make it easier to read. Print, space, quote, less than, div, title, equals. Then we have a top left to bottom right / and a quote, and that slash is telling the computer, don't treat this quote as the end of a string of text, which is what it would normally do. Instead, just put the character quotation marks as part of the text. Because if we didn't have that, if it was just like that, it would read this and go, quotation marks, right? Good, that's a bit of text. Less than div title equals quotation marks. That's the end of the text. Well, that's not what we want. We want that quotation mark character to be part of the text, and the way we indicate that is with a top left to bottom right slash, and that just says the next character, it's just part of the text. Just put it into the string. Don't treat it as the end of the text. So div title equals slash quote. Now this quote is the end of the text because it doesn't have a slash in front of it. Plus ALV. Now what I've done is I have a new array. I'll get into the data one and show you that. I already had AT, which is like the 3-letter abbreviations. It's an array with the 3-letter abbreviations, so str, int, etc. Now I have AL, which is an array with the full name. So instead of str, int, dex, it has strength, intelligence, dexterity. Look, it's fully written out. So going back to this, print div title equals slash plus ALV, so the full name of the attribute, plus quote slash quote. So that means that quote is the start of the text, then slash quote is there's a quotation mark in the text, and then a greater than sign, and the end of another quote, which in this case is the end of the text, plus ATV, which is the abbreviation of an attribute, plus quote less than slash div greater than quote, which is just a tag to end the div, to end the paragraph. And then we have greater than, which is telling us to end the twine command. So that will print something like this. Div So this is an example of what we'll end up with. We have less than div space title equals quote strength quote greater than capital STR and then less than slash div greater than. So in other words, it will print the text str, and if you hover over it, if you move the mouse pointer over that text, you'll get a little box with the word strength in it. So it's a sort of explanation that STR is an abbreviation for strength. It's quite simple. It just becomes complicated when you are working with variables, because the next time it goes through, it'll go div title equals intelligence, int slash div, and then it'll go div title equals dexterity, dex, and so on. And each time it'll have the same hover text, i.e. Oh, no, sorry, that was wrong. It'll have str, and then the hover text is strength, int, and then the hover text is intelligence, dex, and then the hover text is dexterity, and so on through all of the different variables that we have, because there's a for loop at the top going from 1 to an, which is the number of attributes. So it looks complicated because we've got to get all the sort of quotes in the right place and all the tags and all the variables, etc. But what it ends up printing is quite simple. And then in cases where it's always the same, like this one, cowries, we can just go div title equals cowrie shells are the currency used in the underworld, and then cowries and slash div. So that is how you do that. Once again, thanks to Artful Ghoul for suggesting it. Pretty simple suggestion, but I wouldn't have thought of it. myself, I don't think. I have shown another way to do hover text specifically with images, but the way that I showed you in the other video is specific to, like, that's a command within Twine. And what I've shown you here is the command that is a HTML command, which Twine is sort of making use of. This one's probably a little bit more versatile, but, you know, whatever one you choose, of course. So I hope that was useful or interesting to at least some of you, and I hope you will tune in next time.